Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Janelle Riley. I am so thrilled to be here for this press conference with the idea of you. I'm going to be taking questions from journalists all over the world today, but first, please join me in welcoming today's guests. We have star and producer Anne Hathaway,
Hi.
and we have star Nicholas Galitzine, Ella Rubin, and Reid Scott, director, co-writer Michael Showalter, and producer Cathy Schulman. Thank you all so much for being here. I was so nervous about pronouncing Nicholas's last name right
You
that I
and
torqued it
everyone
up.
in my entire career.
If
Well
it
done, you
if it
nailed it.
helps,
I practiced.
Galitzine sounds like magazine.
I watched videos of you saying it because if you listen to the people on the internet, so many of it's you get a very different spread. So
Nailed it.
thank you all so much for being here. Congratulations on a fantastic movie. I want to start with Michael because you've really become known as such an actor's director, particularly coming off, Eyes of Tammy Faye and The Dropout. And this movie has this amazing cast. Can you talk about not only what excited you about this project, but working with this group of actors?
I mean, for me, that's what it's all about is working with actors, going on the journey together into these stories, into these worlds. And I couldn't have asked for a better cast. And very much set a bar for everybody in terms of the work she was doing. And Nicholas is incredible. And from the very first minute I met Nicholas, I felt like we'd found Hayes and Ella and Reid. For me, as a somewhat failed actor, I think you and I have talked about this, Janelle. I get to like get my acting Jones out by directing, and so I get to play and be in there with them. And this I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I was just impersonating all of these guys' performances because I love their performances so much, and impersonation is the highest form of flattery. It really is. So I've loved working with all of them, and seeing the work that they did has been a great joy for me.
So that was a loving tribute, those that
Oh,
that,
of
that
course.
mockery you were just
A
doing. Okay.
hundred percent. 100%. What's 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 your end game here, bro?
I thought that was me for a second. That
No,
sounded like
that's
me.
that's Reid.
Yes. Cathy, your company started developing the script, I believe, from the very start. And I understand you only had one actress in mind for the lead.
I did. I had Anne in mind from the very beginning of the development process. And it's this thing that I always teach my young executives not to do, which is don't develop an entire project hoping you're going to get one actress because it never works. Only in this particular case. She's the only person who read it. She was our first choice. She said yes. And it was a dream come true that actually happened. And just felt that we wanted to take the character, from the book and continue to personalize her, in a way that she felt like she could be any of us. And I believed that, Annie would be able to bring that aspect to Solène's character. And she really did.
And I mean, I've seen you do every genre and medium, and yet this performance still feels so fresh and new. We have a lot of questions from people, and they keep using the word luminous for you in this movie, and they just sort of want to know like what brought you back to the rom-com genre because I'm sure it had to be something special for you to want to revisit that.
Well, first of all, thanks. That's an awesome word. And I really do want to tip it to Jim Frona, our cinematographer, because I think he had a lot to do with it. Um, I didn't notice that it was happening, but had received a lot of romantic scripts in my 20s. And then, in my 30s, I was kind of so focused on my family life and motherhood and kind of trying to find whatever my path was going to be, being an actress while having this really, really rich personal life. And so I didn't notice I hadn't been sent a romantic script in a really long time. And so when this found its way to me, and I'm so honored to have been the first choice for this, it was such a beautiful character in such an amazing world. A part of me did ask the question, but where have these stories gone? Why do they stop? And why, I don't know. And then those questions, I saw all of the path to the answers to them in the script and in the story. And I just thought, whoa, what an unbelievable sort of meta exploration all of this can be. And one of the first conversations I had with Cathy was, if we kind of hit our targets, we can start this when I'm 39 and make it like, and I'll turn 40 when we're filming. And that's actually what wound up happening. So it, without me even designing it or any of us designing it, it became so personal to me. And then the way it came together with Michael Showalter, who's here, and I never say his whole name together in front of him, so it's kind of weird, but anyway. But it has to be said, Michael Showalter, who does not like to admit the legend that he is, but he absolutely is, and there's a reason why he keeps making brilliant film after brilliant film after brilliant film. Some of my favorite movies, it's because he's incredible. And then when the cast came together, it was like game over. And so anyway. I could go on and on about it, but there's other people here.
And Michael is clocking all this for his next impersonation of you. I've been studying you. And Nicholas, this is such a complicated role because, you have to strike the right balance of maturity and worldliness, and you also have to hold your own against Anne Hathaway. Oh, and by the way, you're going to sing and dance as well. Was it ever intimidating?
Yeah, obviously the dancing and the performing especially was tricky because it's something I'd never done before, and you always want more hours in the day to be able to hone those skills. But when it came to the sort of the human side of Hayes, which I think was the side that I was most interested in, I just had such a wonderful partner. And I think that Annie and I felt a chemistry and a connection between us immediately, and a simpatico. And then, that first day with Michael and Cathy as well, it was this 20-hour sort of behemoth of jumping in cold water, and we're in France, and we're in Italy,
and
in Savannah,
without ever leaving Savannah.
And it just I was just filled with a sense of excitement coming into work every single day, and that's not always the case. So yeah.
And this flawless ensemble is rounded out with Dan and Ella, and you feel like a family for all the good and bad that entails. I'm curious how you sort of went about building that chemistry and that history, Ella, especially for you and Anne. Like this, you really feel this mother-daughter bond.
Well, thanks. I feel like that's the best compliment you could get when you're playing family with someone. I've said this in like all the interviews today, but it's really true. Just that, like, when you meet Annie, she's not just like such an interesting person, which she is, but she's also interested. Like I think the bond was, for me at least, felt really natural and really easy despite all my nervousness, because I think she's just such an inquisitive person in the most warm way possible. And so just to, get the privilege of getting to know each other and just talk and just kind of like spend time together, I think by way of just being around her, a bond just naturally forms with someone that's so willing to hear you and try and see you. And so I just felt like it was, for me at least, quite natural in the sense, it was just I just felt a connection. And then with Reid, it was very much the same, just him making me feel really comfortable and welcome, and willing to like be okay with my mess ups or nervousness, or just, very good. You remember, come on.
No, what?
No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Guys, I'm not good at press. I shouldn't be here. Anyway, I'm gonna turn off the camera.
Sure. And Reid, bless you, because you have a very difficult role here. There's a lot of people who are going to be angry at you. At the same time, how do you sort of approach the character and make him, dimensional and complex when we're sort of set up to want to boo you? Sorry.
Thank you. I embrace it. I think part of the fun for me is the challenge of bringing more dimension to, I wouldn't call Daniel the villain, but that kind of role can tend to, you know, lay a little flat, and they're necessary because there has to be this obstacle to this love story. But just like in real life, everyone is they're more colorful than whatever you're getting on any one given moment. So I love to imbue these characters, you know, with as many colors as I can, and I think it's really important, specifically for Daniel. You have to like something about him, because he is a bit of a reflection of Annie's character. Mm-hmm. And you would never believe that someone as warm and loving as Solène could ever, you know, fall for him if he was just, you know, purely an asshole. So you have to see that at some point they must have connected. There must have been something that brought them together, also to produce this wonderful child.
Exactly.
And Michael was just fantastic in sort of fostering an environment of, you know, exploration and play, that we could find this. And Annie and I had these wonderful conversations late at night on the phone in between shooting, sort of giving our characters some backstory and just sort of getting to know one another. And it really helped, and it lent to this wonderful, warm, playful, creative environment that, you know, it really allowed us to all thrive. It was really fantastic.
If I could just say, I think it is such a testament to Reid that people do want to boo him. I really mean that. I really mean that. I love Reid's performance in this movie, and it really has revealed itself to me. I know this is sort of a weird backhanded compliment I've given you before, but like it's unfurled more since we shot it. It's sort of evolved in post. I mean, like it's grown, and I knew he was great when we were shooting and everything, but it's really, he's created this really compelling villain, whatever you want to call it. And I also think too, though, you know, at the end of the movie, when Izzy wants to go to Daniel's house, and he's waiting for her at the door, you see a very caring person there. And you also see something between Daniel and Solène that I think is very complicated. The eye contact that they make with each other there at the end is the eye contact that you see between two people who have a lot of history with each other, mm-hmm. and who have a lot of there's a lot of mileage there between these two adults. And I just love what Reid has done, and I really do mean it. It's like a huge testament to his performance that audiences are so riled up about him.
Well, and even the woman he's currently with in the film, she seems pretty cool too. Like there's a reason this guy attracts awesome women, even though she's, well,
he has a lot of positive qualities, but he needs to work on himself a little bit. And if I had to imagine what the movie about Daniel would be, is he's gonna spend a little bit of time just like working on himself.
In therapy. I would watch a movie about Daniel in therapy. We have a question for Anne and Nicholas. How did you work together to bring this romance to life in a way that feels authentic and avoids feeding into stereotypes?
How did we I mean, it's so funny. We've been asked this a number of times, what work did we do? And the thing that I think that we've both the way we both like to work is we both are very playful people. And so once we figured that out, everything else was just kind of been establishing a friendship, really. So it kind of has worked the way friendships work, you know, in that it doesn't feel like work at all. I'm really, I mean, I think what's happening for Nick in his career is so exciting, but I also just like, I'm just so happy to have made friends with a wonderful person. And someone so talented and who was so much ahead of him, and I felt really, really cared for and supported on this movie. You know, I just knew that whatever I was doing, Nick was there with me step for step, and just anyway, it was a really, really beautiful, very vulnerable experience. But we kind of we always kept it light with each other. We were allowed to make mistakes with each other. Nothing had to be perfect. It wasn't tense in that way. Am I missing anything?
No, I think we were also really good at I think the communication.
Yes.
It was always like very open channel.
We checked in with each other a lot.
Yeah, exactly. But it never. It's funny. I think, you know, obviously so much onus gets placed on the chemistry because it's I think very palpable in the movie. But it's not so much something that you feel like you're consciously working or building to create. It's just like a human connectivity, and I think it flows. It's just very water.
And like whatever we had that was just kind of a raw spark, it was shaped by Michael and by the entire production team. Like, this is, you know, I think sometimes actors get a lot of attention, but this very much, I mean, as everybody knows, like, this is a team medium. And so everybody, we have a lot of, what's the oh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, when somebody has like a special interest expert, something
expertise?
like, yeah, something like that. But we have a lot of people who are experts at their field, and they're designing their whole talented selves towards making it believable that the two of us have chemistry. So we had good fighting odds, and you know, just Jennifer Westfeldt adapted a beautiful book, and so we just had so much working in our favor.
Yeah.
We actually have a question for Cathy. What were some of the biggest challenges in bringing this idea from the book to the screen, and what is the main message you hope to convey to the audience of this film?
Well, I think, you know, in starting the development process, the first thing that I think felt really necessary was that we aged up the daughter from who she had been in the book, because we wanted Solène's character to have someone to speak to and to really be able to be open about the changes that were happening in her own life. And the reason I bring that up is that the message in the end is that women shouldn't be put in boxes. Like, you can be more than a mother, or you can be more than a grandmother. You, in between a mother and a grandmother, I don't know what you are, an other. You know, you can work, you can do a lot of different things. And it was really important that we could look at what it was like to be going from one phase of mothering and a first marriage into the possibilities of more happiness, while also bringing a young person into her womanhood. And I think those are the messages that, you know, we hope that the movie will leave, which is the possibility for happiness and the importance of keeping yourself vulnerable to allow happiness back in. I just think for women, you know, like, you hit a certain age where it's pretty easy to say, hey, I did it. Like, I've been a mom, I've had a job, I've been a wife, and now I'm really happy to, like, and fine to just shut off all those other, you know, shut everything else away and just like go self-actualize in a yurt, which is what Solène was about to do. And and that would have been fine. You know, part of our movie was, it would have been fine. That was an okay choice too. But just to be able to say, like, it's not done. There's so much more. And that was sort of the message. And, you know, so the whole development process was about opening up the story to get us there.
I didn't realize you aged up the daughter. Ella, that's great news for you.
I am 13, but I just don't look it. No, yeah, I'm very lucky that they aged it up. I remember I got like the note I saw on Instagram or somewhere, like, Anne Hathaway in this new movie, whatever, and I read something about having a daughter in it, and I didn't even know any information about it, and I sent a screenshot to my agents, and I was like, I have to audition for this. And literally, as I sent the text, I got an email in my inbox with the audition, and then I realized the daughter was 13, and then they told me they were aging her up, and it was like this serendipitous, very lucky thing. Yeah.
Had you been told over the years that you look like Anne Hathaway?
Yes, and it's the most flattering compliment.
I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled I look like you.
I'm so thrilled I look like you.
Staring at you, just being like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
No, I right back at you. My whole life, actually, I've been staring at you like that. Yeah, no, it's always been the absolute greatest compliment, and then now I'm like, and now I have some evidence to back it up.
That's right.
Oh, I love
it.
It was so fun when I saw Ella's audition tape, because I saw the tape before we met. And I just remember turning to Michael and Cathy and just being like, oh my gosh, where, like, it's my, like, I didn't know that I had a daughter, but apparently it was so wild, where timing was so similar, and Ella's just got funny bones and also like crazy dramatic talent. And I just like I mentioned it before, but like we just struck gold with this cast. It was insane to have someone like Reid come in and to be able to build instant history with someone. It's like chemistry, love, history. It's like all of these big things that audiences are really smart. They know. They know when there's air being let out of it. They know when it won't hold water. And to be a part of this cast that where everybody really meant it and was, you know, just doing such incredible work. I'm still kind of stunned. Wow.
Well, again, it's such a fantastic movie. I want to remind everyone watching, The Idea of You will launch globally on Prime Video on May 2nd. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Janelle.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.